They were brothers once. Two young men from different coasts who shared the same dream, the same pain, the same hunger for something bigger than themselves. What happened between them didn't just destroy a friendship. It tore hip-hop apart and left two of the greatest artists who ever lived dead before they turned 26. Brooklyn, New York. Summer 1993. The Uptown Records office buzzes with the energy of a label that's discovered lightning in a bottle. Sean Puffy Combs moves through the hallways like a man possessed, his energy infectious, his confidence absolute. At 23, he's already shaking up the music industry with his vision of what hip-hop could become. Not just street corner rhymes, but mainstream dominance. Not just underground culture, but global phenomenon. In Studio B, a 21-year-old Christopher Wallace sits behind the microphone, his 300-pound frame relaxed in the chair, his voice flowing like honey over concrete. The notorious Big hasn't dropped his debut album yet, but everyone in the building knows they're witnessing the emergence of something special. His storytelling ability is unmatched, his flow effortless, his charisma undeniable. When Biggie raps, people stop what they're doing and listen. That's when Tupac Shakur walks through the door. He's 22, lean and wiry, wearing baggy jeans and a tank top that shows off arms covered in tattoos. His energy is electric, restless, like he's constantly ready to spring into action. He's already establishing himself as one of the most promising young rappers on the West Coast, but he's in New York for meetings, trying to expand his reach, trying to build bridges between the coasts. Puffy introduces them in the hallway outside Studio B. Pac, meet Big. Meet Pac. Y'all need to know each other. The handshake lasts longer than usual, both men sizing each other up, recognizing something familiar. They're the same age. Both grew up poor, both using rap to escape circumstances that could have killed them, both carrying the weight of representing something bigger than themselves. I heard your shit, Biggie says, his Brooklyn accent thick as molasses. That Brenda's got a baby joint? That's real talk right there. Tupac grins. Appreciate that, man. Your flow is sick, like nothing I've heard before. Within an hour, they're in Studio B together, not recording, just talking about growing up broke. Tupac in Baltimore and Oakland, Biggie in Brooklyn, about single mothers struggling to keep them fed and out of trouble, about seeing friends die before they turned 18, about the responsibility of representing their communities authentically while avoiding the stereotypes that the mainstream media loves to push. They talk about the music industry's tendency to pit black artists against each other, instead of recognizing that there's room for everyone to succeed. About their shared belief that hip-hop could be more than entertainment. It could be education, revolution, a way to give voice to people who'd never been heard before. Tupac shares his theory that rap is the new protest music, the way this generation fights back against systemic oppression. Biggie talks about using storytelling to show the complexity of street life, not glorifying it, but not simplifying it either. Real people making real choices in impossible circumstances. The chemistry is immediate and undeniable. Tupac's revolutionary fire meets Biggie's street wisdom. Pac's emotional intensity balances Big's cool calculation. They complement each other perfectly. Two sides of the same coin, two voices telling the same story from different angles. But it's more than just artistic connection. They genuinely like each other as people. Tupac appreciates Biggie's laid-back humor, his ability to find joy in simple moments. Biggie respects Tupac's passion, his willingness to be vulnerable in his music, his fearlessness in speaking truth to power. They start collaborating immediately, not on official tracks, just freestyles, studio sessions, where they bounce ideas off each other. Biggie helps Tupac refine his East Coast flow. Tupac pushes Biggie to be more political in his lyrics. They challenge each other without competing, support each other without compromising their individual styles. Over the next 6 months, they become inseparable. When Tupac's in New York, he stays at Biggie's apartment in Brooklyn. When Biggie visits Los Angeles, Tupac shows him around, introduces him to the West Coast scene. They talk for hours about everything: music, women, money, the system that's designed to keep them down, their plans to change the world. Biggie introduces Tupac to his crew: Lil Cease, the Junior Mafia, the whole Brooklyn family. Tupac brings Biggie into his circle, includes him in videos, brings him on stage during performances. They're building something together, a brotherhood that transcends geography and competition. The friendship deepens through shared experiences that most people their age never face. The pressure of sudden fame, the weight of carrying their community's hopes, the paranoia that comes with success in a dangerous business. They understand each other's struggles in ways that few others can. When Tupac gets shot during a robbery in 1994, Biggie is one of the first people to visit him in the hospital. When Biggie's mother falls ill, Tupac sends flowers and offers to pay for medical bills. This isn't just professional networking. This is genuine love between two young men who see themselves as brothers. But underneath the friendship, forces are already moving that will tear them apart. The East Coast-West Coast rivalry isn't just about music. It's about money, territory, and respect. Record labels on both coasts are making millions from this new genre, and competition is fierce. Behind the scenes, executives and managers are already planting seeds of division, whispering about who's really the best, who's getting the most respect, who deserves to be the undisputed king of hip-hop. The media, hungry for drama and conflict, begins portraying every interaction between East and West Coast artists as a battle. Magazine covers pit rappers against each other. Radio DJs ask loaded questions designed to create controversy. The narrative becomes us versus them, even when the artists themselves don't feel that way. Tupac and Biggie try to stay above it. In interviews, they consistently praise each other, refuse to participate in the manufactured drama. But the pressure is building, and it's only a matter of time before something breaks. November 30, 1994. Quad Recording Studios, Manhattan. Tupac arrives at the studio for a recording session. But something feels wrong. The building seems too quiet. The usual buzz of activity is absent. He notices two men in the lobby who don't belong. Not musicians, not producers, just two guys watching him with too much interest. The elevator opens. Tupac steps inside. The two men follow him. What happens next changes everything. 3 bullets. 1 to the head, 2 to the groin. Tupac goes down, blood pooling on the elevator floor. The attackers take his jewelry and disappear. When help arrives, Tupac is barely conscious, but he's alive. From his hospital bed, Tupac's mind races. The painkillers can't numb the psychological wound that cuts deeper than the physical ones. Who knew he would be at Quad Studios that night? The session wasn't widely publicized. Only his closest circle knew the exact time and location. Who had access to that information? Who benefits from him being dead or discredited? The list is short, and it includes people he trusted completely, people he considered family, people he would have taken a bullet for, and now someone has put bullets in him instead. Biggie visits him in the hospital the next day, bringing flowers and genuine concern. But Tupac studies his friend's face with new eyes, looking for tells for signs of guilt or knowledge he shouldn't have. Biggie seems authentically worried, asks the right questions, says the right things. But Tupac's paranoia is in full effect now. Trust, once broken, is almost impossible to rebuild. The seed of suspicion is planted when Tupac learns that Biggie was in the same studio building that night, working on tracks for his debut album. Floor different, but same building. Coincidence? In a city with hundreds of recording studios, what are the odds that both of them would be at Quad that night? The timing seems too convenient. The fact that Biggie wasn't hurt, wasn't even approached by the attackers, starts to feel significant. Why target Tupac specifically? Why leave Biggie, the bigger commercial threat, untouched? Then comes the information that destroys everything. Someone tells Tupac that Biggie knew about the attack beforehand, that he was warned to stay in his session room, to avoid the lobby area around the time Tupac was supposed to arrive, that he chose not to warn Tupac because he saw an opportunity to eliminate his biggest competition. The source is questionable. A street-level hustler with his own agenda. Someone who might benefit from East Coast-West Coast conflict. But in Tupac's current state, rational analysis is impossible. The story fits his worst fears too perfectly to ignore. Whether this information is true or false doesn't matter anymore. Once it enters Tupac's mind, it grows like cancer. Every memory gets re-examined through the lens of betrayal. Every kindness Biggie showed now seems calculated. Every moment of their friendship becomes evidence of long-term manipulation. Did Biggie befriend him to get close enough to hurt him? Were all those late-night conversations about brotherhood and loyalty just intelligence gathering? Was the whole friendship a setup from the beginning? Biggie, for his part, is devastated by Tupac's accusations. He knows he had nothing to do with the shooting, but he can't prove it. The hip-hop world is built on reputation and respect, and being accused of setting up a friend, especially one as beloved as Tupac, threatens everything he's built. The friendship dies in that hospital room, replaced by suspicion and hurt that will fester until it becomes hatred. When Tupac is released from prison in 1995, signed to Death Row Records, and backed by Suge Knight's money and muscle, the battle lines are clearly drawn: East Coast versus West Coast. Bad Boy Records versus Death Row. Biggie versus Tupac. What started as manufactured media drama has become personal, deadly serious conflict. The war escalates through music. Tupac releases Hit 'Em Up, the most vicious diss track in hip-hop history. He doesn't just attack Biggie's skills. He attacks his character, his authenticity, his manhood. He claims to have slept with Biggie's wife, Faith Evans. He threatens violence against everyone in Biggie's camp. First off, fuck your bitch and the clique you claim. Tupac spits over the beat. West Side when we ride. Come equipped with game. The song is nuclear, designed not just to win a rap battle, but to destroy Biggie completely. Every line is calculated to cause maximum damage, to humiliate, to provoke. It's the sound of love turned to hate, of brotherhood twisted into warfare. Biggie responds with subtlety, rather than aggression. Who Shot Ya is released, though he claims it was recorded before Tupac's shooting. The song doesn't mention Tupac by name, but the implications are clear. Biggie maintains his innocence, while demonstrating that he can play this game too. But the damage is done. Two friends who once shared dreams and supported each other's careers are now locked in a public feud that threatens to spiral out of control. The hip-hop community is forced to choose sides. Fans take the rivalry personally. Violence erupts at concerts and clubs. Behind the scenes, record label executives are getting rich from the drama. Album sales skyrocket. Every diss track generates headlines. The East Coast-West Coast beef becomes the biggest story in music, and everyone profits, except the artists whose lives are being destroyed. Suge Knight and Sean Combs, the power brokers behind their respective artists, escalate the conflict for business reasons. Knight sees an opportunity to establish Death Row as the dominant hip-hop label. Combs refuses to back down, knowing that surrender would mean the end of Bad Boy's credibility. The artists become pawns in a larger game. They don't fully understand. What started as a personal betrayal between friends has become a corporate war, fought with bodies instead of balance sheets. September 7th, 1996. Las Vegas, Nevada. Tupac attends the Mike Tyson fight at the MGM Grand with Suge Knight. After the fight, they're driving to a club when a white Cadillac pulls up alongside their BMW. Multiple shots are fired. Tupac is hit 4 times. He dies 6 days later, September 13th, 1996. He's 25 years old. The hip-hop world is shattered. Whatever anger existed between the coasts suddenly seems trivial compared to the reality of loss. Tupac Shakur, one of the most passionate and gifted artists of his generation, is gone forever. Biggie is devastated. Despite their public feud, he never wanted this outcome. In private moments, he mourns the loss of his friend, the brother he once knew. But publicly, he must navigate the aftermath carefully. Many people blame him for Tupac's death. The accusations follow him everywhere. 6 months later, March 9th, 1997, Los Angeles, California. Biggie is in town for the Soul Train Music Awards, trying to promote his upcoming album Life After Death and possibly make peace with the West Coast. After a party at the Peterson Automotive Museum, he leaves in a GMC Suburban. At a red light, a dark Chevy Impala pulls alongside. The driver rolls down his window and fires multiple shots into the passenger side of Biggie's vehicle. Christopher Wallace dies at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center an hour later. He's 24 years old. Two of the greatest rappers who ever lived are dead within 6 months. The East Coast-West Coast War has claimed its most precious casualties. Hip-hop has lost not just 2 artists, but 2 voices that could have defined the culture for decades. In the aftermath, as the music industry and fans grapple with the magnitude of the loss, the true tragedy becomes clear. This wasn't inevitable. These deaths weren't the result of some ancient hatred or irreconcilable differences. They were the product of a manufactured conflict that spiraled out of control, fed by greed, paranoia, and the toxic masculinity that demands blood for disrespect. Tupac and Biggie died as enemies, but they lived as brothers before the industry tore them apart, before the media created a war, before paranoia and betrayal poisoned their friendship. They were just 2 young men who understood each other's pain and supported each other's dreams. Their music survives as a testament to what they could have been together, not rivals, but collaborators. Not enemies, but allies. Not cautionary tale, but inspiration. The beef between them changed hip-hop forever, establishing a template for conflict that continues today. But their friendship showed what the culture could be at its best, a space where talented young people from different backgrounds can find common ground and build something beautiful together. Who in your life have you lost to pride, to misunderstanding, to conflicts that seemed important at the time but pale in comparison to the relationship itself? Because Tupac and Biggie can't answer that question anymore. They ran out of time to make things right. The last tragedy isn't that they died young. It's that they died without reconciling. That the brotherhood they once shared was destroyed by forces beyond their control, and they never got the chance to rebuild it. That possibility died with them, and the world is poorer for it.